Hey, team. Welcome back to another episode of the Jenn Commandments podcast. I am your host, Jenn Wien. I'm an engineer currently working in Wisconsin. I grew up in the Chicagoland area and I went to college in Michigan. Hey, in today's episode, we're going to be having a conversation with somebody I've always admired from afar. I've sort of kept touch with you since we were both in high school.
Yeah.
So, okay, how I want to start. I didn't really do the whole intro. Let me
Give it to me. Give it to me.
I said she's a small business owner, a world traveler, and a proud auntie. Today we'll be interviewing Carli Martinez.
Hi, everyone.
Yay!
I'm so excited to be here. I'm so proud of you and like what this represents, and I'm here for it.
We're gonna keep talking.
We're gonna get into it. We got a lot.
We're gonna keep talking until they tell us we can't anymore.
Exactly. My job.
No. What I remember. Okay, so my senior year of high school. How old are you?
22.
You're 22.
Yes.
So, and I'm 26. I think are you young for your year?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Were you
a May baby?
I graduated in 2017.
2020.
Okay, so maybe you were freshman when I was a senior.
Yeah.
So, do you remember? I wonder if they still do this in Stager. They do like the like high school volleyball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
like at Columbia, right?
My high school sweetheart and I, we went once right after I quit softball.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you were there. We had a lot of fun that day. I don't know if you remember, but that's how I remember meeting you.
That is so sweet. Okay, I definitely remember like being sports oriented with you, but I also know that you were like a big part of like the football team, softball, right? And when volleyball was going on as in freshman year, you were involved in sports, so like seeing each other passing through the locker room and like all of that. Right. So I remember vividly
being sexually harassed by football players.
Team.
I'm sure you experienced it.
Wait a minute. I didn't know if you were just referring to me or you, but girl.
I mean, I think that's a pretty common
what were we like
for fall sports?
Pray? Yeah. And it was like freshmen. So what? Fresh meat? Like it was like it was crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all
crazy as fuck.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, no, I do vividly remember that part, but I also remember like, definitely seeing you in passing. Your varsity jacket vividly sticks out to me.
Yeah. My father bought that for me.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Love him. No.
Oh. Not for real, but like for real. Okay.
Yeah, I loved that. School spirit was a big, and it still sort of is. I think during high school, I thought I hated it so much. And like I look back now and I'm like, oh no, I loved high school. Like,
no, you loved high school.
Yeah,
we loved high school. Like, we didn't go to a shitty school. Like, no, it's okay to enjoy that.
Yeah,
and
to enjoy things.
And we did.
I'm coming to terms with the fact that I was bratty for a while. You know, like So that was one of the things I was excited to ask, just because I was like,
no, but I wanted to mention, like, I vividly remember. I'm like, one day, I think y'all are graduating soon, right? The end of the year is coming. And you tagged me in that Facebook post. Jen, I'm like opening my notifications.
Messy. Yeah.
Was it messy?
I forget. I think there was a lot of white girls who were arguing on Facebook about who the baddest one was.
Tell me.
And I was like,
no, but you said something so sweet. It wasn't even along the lines of being a baddie.
Sweet. Yeah, I was being shitty, but like I was being nice to you, but I was still being a mean girl.
Yeah, well, it took me off guard. There was so much Facebook drama. When we were in high school, but
people don't believe me when I say like Facebook was the most popping app.
Oh, it was. It definitely was.
And I think most other places that's not the case.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, Facebook is.
No, we lived on Facebook.
Yeah,
like,
I still live on Facebook. Unfortunately,
like, there was a locker search at Bloom Trail. It was on Facebook. Thank you, Facebook. Like,
that was crazy.
It was just tea. Like you would be in the middle of class, like refresh your timeline. There's something happening in the hallway. Like, get to it. I missed that high school.
I loved high school. I don't know. I think that some people acclimate better to the new environment than others do.
Yeah, I guess my experience is a little bit different because I went to trail for a couple years and then I transferred.
I forgot about
so
that.
I had like two different worlds.
Yeah.
Two different worlds, genuinely. It was a culture
Where
shock.
did you go the last
To
two?
Crete Moni. So I graduated from Crete Moni.
Cute.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was good. It was interesting. Like I remember just going in there like, you know, fried every day, just trying to mind my business. But like being the new kid was kind of fun.
Yeah. Of course.
I wish I would have enjoyed it more because I know like junior year I went to Bloom Trail's prom.
Aw.
Like
cute.
I should have just enjoyed where I was at the moment.
Yeah.
And just like gotten comfortable with that change in my life.
Yeah.
Because I mean it was really beautiful. Like
it was,
but Bloom Trail was really fun. So it was very, very demure.
yeah.
So
yeah. I don't know. That obviously the transition was hard for me at first, but I think I don't know. I was super involved with a lot of shit. I think I was like a super straight edge. Like didn't do I wish that was I don't know. I really made up for it in college and then like had some not issues, but I definitely didn't have healthy patterns. I enjoyed my time at Bloom Trail, but it's but I also like I don't know.
Did you go to two different high schools or was just Bloom Trail?
I just went to Bloom Trail. Yeah. I had so I'm in the Marian Catholic yearbook for my freshman year.
So did you like transfer from Marian?
I had a schedule. I was signed up for band. I was like ready, dropped out of going to Marian like 2 weeks before school started.
Oh wow.
Because so I went into like their orientation and they gave me the handbook and I told them that I didn't want to do band anymore because band was like a cult at Marian.
I caught that vibe. But isn't it everywhere? Like
well, our band sucked. So Bloom Trail's band was not good.
But so when you have
our
a standard to maintain.
Like we had Isaiah Simpson, if you're out there, love you so bad. We had a drumline captain who he inspired all of us to love music. Mm-hmm. So we had like a really great person to look up to if you were younger around my graduating years, but we didn't have like a very structured band director at the time. We would like me and my best friend at the time, we would literally ditch the first half of band practice to go to Duncan and just like fuck around. Yeah. And then we'd come halfway through and we were still getting A's for the class. Yeah. So does it like, we were like, who cares?
Yeah. They did not play that shit.
We didn't know our music. We didn't know anything.
Like that's what I went from though. Like you went from Bloom Trail to like a whole different environment where like, girl, you better straighten the fuck up.
Like I would literally lay on the floor in the band room and nap during ninth. So like, I don't know. It was, we had, the tea is like when I tried to change my schedule and the band director called me like 4 times in 24 hours. And I'm a spiteful bitch. So I'm like, don't like pressure me to do something.
She knew who she was from a young age.
Yeah.
No, not this being your
I've been advocating for adult things my whole life.
Excuse me, why are you calling me?
Excuse me, I pay you.
But that is me, like avoidant, very avoidant.
Yeah.
People love that shit.
And as soon as it was like that intense, I read the whole handbook. Like I was so like crazy about it. I read the whole handbook like front to back like a couple times, and then I also went to like online forums because both my parents were like, "It's up to you." This very big financial decision. Yeah. I was like, okay, and so I was like, a lot of parents had said like, unless you're already wealthy, it's not. If you have the means to send your child to Marian, go ahead. But like.
Yeah.
A lot of Marian's kids are like legacy.
But I feel like it really built character to like not go to Marian. Like it builds character like to be in a different environment. Like you go different places and they're like, where are you from?
Correct.
Because you have that experience. Like culture. We have culture.
We're demure.
We're demure, but like no, there was just so much to love.
Yeah.
And I I left Bloom Trail and I was like, I hate it. Like, oh my God. I just get dress coded all the time. Like, they would blow me with that. But I definitely was involved. Like, I wasn't a band kid, but I was in, you know, theater and
I
volleyball. You know, theater was okay. I wish I understood more, like, to perform. I was like, as soon as theater started and like they had tryouts, I'm like, let me sing. What did I sing? Like Hallelujah or some shit.
Like Shrek Hallelujah?
Yes, like Shrek Hallelujah. Cute. Not cute. I just found that video and I deleted it. I didn't even watch it because it was so cringy. But looking back, if I understood to perform, like, give me some upbeat music. Like, let me dance, let me perform and show who I am. Right. Glee it up. I was like, let me like sing some gospel. Like, girl, what?
You're Rachel.
So I wish I understood that aspect more so I could go in and like put that shit on. Like, and really be involved more. But you know, when you sing those songs, you don't get a front row spot. You're like a background character. So like, I just wish little me knew that aspect a little bit more.
Yeah, that like it's okay to want I think part of me was, for me, not to project my shit on you. For me, I was scared to want like to be like, no, I want to be up on stage. That felt like embarrassing. So I'm really still dealing with that with my improv class. Like, I'm taking an improv class.
I love that for you.
Yeah. And it's the first week I really struggled because I was trying to be funny, you know, where I like, and they're like, I don't know, it's this middle-aged man, you know? And he's like, you just gotta like, you can't go for the punchline. Like, you got to just be yourself. You're going to be more funny if you're just yourself. And like, a lot of that want to be funny, it's hard to turn off. I want that quick laugh, you know, but that like learning,
it's just reassuring having that too.
Reassuring. It shows that I'm insecure up there.
Yeah,
like
it does.
Yeah. And I'm nervous. I want the laugh and I want to get the fuck off the stage. And I've noticed that. And I'm like, oh,
that's funny because that can be evident in other places other than just theater.
Correct.
And that's the scary part because like you're doing these things, like you're going through your hobbies and you learn these things.
Where's your plant? Sorry.
Me like hair in my mouth. Okay, hold on. Please hold. Got like cat hair in my mouth. But no, it's interesting. The more you dive into your hobbies and like foster that about yourself, you learn these things that you would not have known.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of you for that. Like, I'm getting back into volleyball. I've been like on my shit again.
That's so fun.
It feels so good. You have to do those things. Like, at this age, we cannot just sit in house and like.
I'm bad about it right now.
Are you?
I've been really fostering like creative. I've been painting a lot. I've been like, that's been fun. I've been reading. I've been doing internal stuff, but like, because I work from home, I can't also just have internal hobbies.
That is different. Yeah.
I'm going crazy a little bit. So where me and my job are like working on it. We're working on some sort of solution. But that's hard for me. I'm somebody who is social and who always has been. And so we're working on it. I need to figure out, there's like a really nice library in downtown Appleton that I'd like to go. Some of my job is just like making graphics look pretty for manufacturing sites.
Nice.
Like, they pay us to like work in the software that they provide for them, which is, it's fun.
Yeah.
Once the learning curve was sort of steep, but once I've gotten the hang of it, it's gotten a lot more fun. If you just do it enough, eventually it's gonna stick. I haven't made as much of an effort as I should probably, but
I hear you keep saying that, but despite that, we're still here.
Yeah.
So I need you to take a step back and understand that
effort.
No, I think you think that you're
subjective.
putting in like a little bit. Yeah, but you're really like, you're still putting it in. So
yeah,
I can talk about that in different aspects of my life too. Like, my business, like my work.
So
no,
sorry.
for sure. No, I'm saying like it happens though.
I can start the episode and be like, I'm going to talk about this today, and then never talk about it. Like, I'd be like, oh, it's been 50 minutes and I haven't talked about anything.
My agenda's out the window.
No, sorry.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. I was just like relating. Yeah.
Yes. I want to hear. So when did you start your business?
Okay. I think.
Tell me that process.
Okay. So I think it was January of 2021. I want to say it was like January 1st or 2nd. It was at the beginning of the year. And so what happened was my brother had caught COVID in December. And this was like a whole crazy thing, right? COVID. Yes. You're quarantined as fuck. And I was around my friends. I was around her kid. Like, so I had a lot that I needed to step away from. I needed to social distance, girl. Like, you cannot afford to get anybody sick. So I was like, okay, so absolutely. I'm up late at night and I'm like on, what was it, Michael's, the website? And I'm looking at like stuff. And I'm like,
I love a craft store.
Let me get to crafting. So yeah, the first thing I ever did was I bought like my pliers, my cutters, my wire cutters, my wire, my beads. They have their crystal beads. Okay, not all of them are fake at Michael's. I know people talk a lot of crap about Michael's beads.
Are they?
But no, they have some legit beads.
Okay,
yeah.
Slay.
You just kind of have to pick the right ones. But
right.
So I had my little starter kit and I did a pickup order. Cute. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go in here with my mask and, you know, pick up my order and take it home. And I just kind of watched some YouTube videos. I'm like, how does this wire wrapping stuff work? And I started getting into like ring making. I bought like a ring mandolin and like started doing the whole thing. So yeah, I started making rings. Honestly, this was in December. So there's not a big gap between it becoming a hobby and a business. There's not a large gap. It's right now. Yeah, there's not a huge gap between me like practicing and finally saying like, oh, I'm gonna put this out. It was just like I was doing it and I was like, these are cute. And then I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Like
somebody might pay for it.
Yeah. So
which is fun. Like I think it's like it's a side hustle. It's fun. That's how I feel about Depop too. We'll talk about that.
We were in the culture too of like 2020. Like everyone's becoming like these influencers and right. I'm like, I want to influence something. Like I want to do something. So
period.
December to January, I made a Facebook post and I was like, hey, everybody, like I'm going to launch my business. I didn't even have a name at the time, which we could talk about too.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm going to launch my business. I just went on a whole paragraph about, you know, what this stands for me. And like, I would like post my pictures and do like little prices on the picture, like just really corny, cute. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. It all has to start somewhere.
Yeah. I would take my mirror outside and like photograph.
Those were cute.
Yeah. No, they're so cute. Yeah. To this day, like I'm such a good photographer for my jewelry. Not the best content creator, but like
it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard to create something that people care about. Like, I don't know. Well, that's like witty, short enough to catch people. Like, there's a lot to think about.
There is like what sounds trending, like what angles, is the lighting good? Like, there's a million different things to think about when you're putting this stuff out. And I'm just like, photos are my thing. So I would just take really pretty pictures outside. I love to be outside and just started. And man. The rest is history. It's 2025. Like, I can't believe it's been 4 years.
Yeah. How were there ever times that you got like, because even for me doing this, sometimes I'm like, okay, is there ever going to be a point? Am I just doing this for fun? Or is there ever going to be a point where I'm going to expect to profit like big from it? Like, how do you manage your expectations those ways? Like, you know what I mean?
Really good question.
Because like for me, of course it gets like a little discouraging, but like I like doing this. So like, does it really matter? Probably not. I don't know.
Yeah. So to go back to the social aspect, like needing that human connection and everything, that's what I love about my business. And it's not like so much as I need to make 1,000 rings and I need to sell all 1,000 rings.
Yeah.
It's really not that for me, but it's like going into public, like putting on a beautiful outfit, like just showing up and just people being like, oh my God, you made that? Like, that is what I love. And it's been hard. There's been times where I'm in a funk right now. I haven't posted in a while.
Sure.
Settling into like my new place and everything like that. So life does get in the way and like you work your full-time job.
Correct.
And I'm not going to say like part of me, I know if I was posting content for the last 4 years, like blown the fuck up. Right.
Yeah.
So I know that consistency is key with that too.
Yeah.
But that's never what it really was for me. It was like getting involved in my community. And like when I understood where I could take this, like I've worked with the Orange 10 project. So like a nonprofit. So my profits would go to, or like my vendor fee would go to them building tents for the homeless in Chicago, or like cool. Just getting involved in things like that. I have a women's event coming up with the Silver Room. Just like things that are just so wholesome, right? They just represent me. That is what I'm about. So if there's any way I can get involved, like that's what's done it for me.
Right.
That's what's kept me going. It hasn't been about like trying to make it big and like make all this money, because I still know, I mean, who's gonna make 1,000 rings?
Right. Right.
I'm gonna have to make 1,000 rings. Like, you know, it does take a team, and
correct.
It does take a team. So
do your fingers ever hurt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I scooped ice cream, not that it's comparable, but it takes fine motor skills.
Yeah, and like the wire is sharp. Like I'm like cutting myself, and like but I just love it. Like I love to be out and like meet people. I feel like that's where I found my community too. Yeah, is through those events. Like I have people with live music. There's been pop-ups that have happened on my birthday. Like had the whole party singing happy birthday. Like so cute. So wholesome, and it just fills me with love. Like that's what I get out of it. And I don't know, it's still so much fun for me. I don't think there's ever going to be a time where I'm like I quit. It's going to be, I feel like even if I move, I'm going to take it with me. Like,
well, even like here, I went to the little cafe. It was cute. It's like a cute little, I always wanted to open something in like a little town like that. Like it reminds me of Wisconsin a little bit. Where I live is cute. There's like a downtown area, and I always want like a little hippie place. You know, I would love like a creative space.
See, more to come on that, because I'm to the point where like I've bar hopping in like different states, and bar hopping out here is not the same. And like I want to go knock on a business owner's door and be like, hey, let me change this for you, because it's just not it. Like I don't think they understand the scene. Like I think the downtown area is super cute, but it's not updated. Like it's not with it.
There was music just like playing.
They do that. I'm like I'm on the way to the post office, and I'm like, oh, today's a good day.
Post office you go to? Is it like
it's
right
like down here?
It's
it's really cute.
Do you have like a relationship with yours too? I love my little postal worker.
Jenn.
They're not,
I've gone through, so I've moved a lot in the last like 5 years. I think I've moved like 4 or 5 times. So I've gone through my post office people, and the people in my last town. Shout out to Terrell and Adina. Y'all are amazing. Like nothing compares. And I remember like picking up my mail for the last time and like hugging them, like tears in my eyes. Like I love y'all so much. Building those relationships is so important. I don't have that here yet. But I'm like, I know y'all are having
takes me a while.
But also it's not about you, it's about them. And maybe you don't like your job as much as like they like their job. So I'm like, I'm still gonna show up and be my happy-go-lucky self and be like, how are you today? Beautiful weather we're having.
Girls don't love their job. They try. They pretend like they do. And like me being happy, I know brightens, like I don't know. I love the simple those are my favorite interactions.
Me too.
Just like the passing, like
it's
cashiers.
So necessary.
I love them.
I know my dad keeps telling me, he's like, go find a cafe and like just sit there every day, get the same thing every day, and like build that relationship. And I haven't done that a lot out here yet, but like I was saying, anytime I go to a different state, it's like black and white. Like
I know. I stopped in Westtown. I love Westtown. To stop at the dispensary. It ended up, it's so cool. Life is so cool. It ended up being the same. Right next door was the bakery I got my birthday cake for my 25th birthday.
Oh my gosh.
And I just like happened to pick that.
You didn't realize.
And I was like, Westtown Bakery.
That is so
I was
sweet.
so like, I was so excited. So I stopped there, and just being there was being somewhere that was walkable. I only walked like a block and a half from where I parked, but I want to, that's what I miss most about college. I want to live somewhere that's walkable.
For sure. And like, even being kind of in the country area, I like that I do have this little downtown area. And like, I was inspired. I went to the gym one day. I think I posted this on Facebook because it was just so sentimental to me. But I was like, I went to the gym one day. This guy's like, go enjoy the sun. And I'm like, enjoy the sun? Mm-hmm. Don't tell me twice.
Right.
Like I took that as my sign. So I came home and I like bundled up. I got my hat, gloves, and scarf on. And I took a walk to the antique store. And I'm in here shopping around. Like I find a couple aprons because as I'm learning, living alone and cooking, girl, I'm wiping my hands on my clothes like every 5 minutes, or I'm washing my hands every 5 minutes. So
floor's always
let me get an apron. I found the cutest vintage apron. So I bring them to the register and I'm like, guys, which one should I get? And I'm asking the ladies at the counter and I'm trying them on and they're like, you're so refreshing. Like, it's just so sweet to see like a young face around here. And like, you know, so we end up talking and she's like, I'm like, okay, let me pick this one. So I pick my apron and she's like, I'm going to buy the other one for you. Like stuff like that keeps me going. That is my purpose in life. Like,
and I think, I love that stuff. I think COVID sort of robbed young people of that, being confident in that. Like a lot of people who are like maybe like 18 when COVID started or whatever, like they didn't get those early adult years are so important. Because I still like, I love doing those things, but I have noticed that I've gotten way shyer. I don't know if it's because I've gotten older or if it's because COVID stunted me or stunted me.
I don't know. I know like COVID ended high school abruptly.
Yeah.
And 2020, like graduated in March. I was getting crunk. I'm like, guys, I have online school today, but I'm not going. Like, period. But I feel so sad looking back. My teachers who would show up and get on live and like nobody would be there.
I feel so bad.
I feel so bad, but I don't know if COVID stunted me, but I still go through that. Like, to go out and take a walk, it takes a lot. I don't have a dog to walk.
Yeah.
Like, girl, what are you doing walking around town? But like, you just go. Yeah. You have to push yourself through those anxious moments where it feels like it's impossible. Mm-hmm. And I'm so good at that. Like, I will, heart beating out of my chest, go and say something that is going to spark a conversation. I know it will. Yeah. But it takes me, like, I have to build up to that point. And, like, that's what keeps me going, too, is just constantly going out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. I've retreated a little bit back, like, into my comfort zone the last few years, but I'm finally, like, comfortable. And so I like this year I was like, we're going to do interviews. Yeah. I think that like, this is super scary. Yeah. I'm like showing up to people's house.
It is.
And like,
you're natural though. It felt like, I felt like I seen her yesterday. I'm like, come on in, girl. Like, yeah, no, seriously.
But it's like, you don't know if the conversation's good. Like, this is like going to be our first 2-hour long conversation.
Ever. I don't even know if we've hung out like that. No, we've not. No.
And so like, you don't know if that's going to go well. Like, but you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Trusting yourself that you're going to figure it out is like half of it.
Oh,
and man. I'm like, this is what we're doing this year.
That's what I'm learning is to trust myself, and not just this self, but past self who made the decision to move. Right.
Yeah.
Like when I first moved, I had a lot of regret, and I'm like, I don't know. It just wasn't perfect enough for me, but like, girl, what's it going to take?
Beautiful in here.
Thank
Tell me about your new space. Tell me about living alone.
Yes. It was scary.
Yeah.
Like waking up for the first time, because I have like my 3 brothers. I had 4 dogs. You know, my 2 cats came with me. We had birds, and my nephew, of course. Like everybody, right? So my house was so full of chaos that I found myself like literally running away from things. Like it was just too much at home.
Did you not spend a lot of time alone growing up?
No. Yeah. I spent a lot of time with friends. And then with that escape factor, like I need to go. I need to be on the go. Like anybody who knows me knows like I'm on the go all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So to finally sit down and be like, wow, there's nothing to run from but me. And also I learned that I was using that as like a coping mechanism. I'll surround myself with everybody else's problems.
Yeah.
Take care of everybody else so I don't have to take care of me.
Yeah.
And to actually sit down and be like, okay, what do I like to do? Like, because I'm also the type of friend who's like, my friends want to go here and there. I'll go here and there.
I like doing whatever my friends like doing.
Right. Yeah, I don't like to initiate, hey, come do this because I want to do this.
Yeah.
But that's what living alone has been teaching me. Like, you can say no. I would say yes to a lot of things just so I could be involved in whatever someone else was doing, but no, it didn't align with me. And like, that's what I'm learning now. So it's a huge perspective change. And it's empowering.
Yeah.
It's so empowering.
It's when something happens where you're like, I actually don't know how to handle this, and you have to figure it out for the first time on your own. This is just like growing pains. Now I look back.
Growing pains.
Yeah.
If there's one word I can use to describe
this
life,
time,
it's growing pains, because it's like, I just came back from Seattle last week and I stepped into my apartment and I was like, whose apartment is this? Like, because you're growing like that. And I'm my high school quote. It was literally,
you guys got to have high school quotes.
We did. I'm in the yearbook.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm in the yearbook, and it was like, I think it's like, I will never be the person I am today, tomorrow, and I'll never be the person I was yesterday, today. Like, genuinely though, you just grow, and it's just interesting. Growing pains, exactly, because like, does this even resonate with me anymore? Like, I liked this last week, but today I don't like it, and that's okay.
Yeah, like,
you don't have to stick with that one thing and hold on to it forever. And it's just huge. Like, oh God, I love it here.
Yeah, and it's hard. I love the growing pains. It's painful as you're doing it. You're like, it even like, it looks really glamorous on the outside.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure.
Like, yeah,
I'm sure people are like, Carli's living her life.
Yeah,
like, and I am living my life.
Yeah, but of course,
there's still, you have to go through that, and you can't avoid it.
I'll be crying sometimes, you know,
I'm going through it. But like, I think I always say too, like, blessed, love, and grateful. Like,
yes,
you have to keep those right by your side, or you're gonna lose sight.
Yeah, you're
gonna lose sight of the things.
Yeah.
So I just have to remind myself, like, this is my life that I'm living. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, and like, happiness is like a pursuit. Nobody's gonna like hand it to you.
No,
and be like, you struggled enough, now you get to be happy.
Mm-mm. You have to be happy where you are. Too. Like, that's
at
what
every
I'm saying.
stage.
Yeah,
this is
past,
the
present, and future.
That's gonna build you up to the next.
You have to trust yourself, and it is literally a pursuit. I love it.
It's
messy. It's messy. It's exhausting. I feel like all I do is load my dishwasher, unload my dishwasher, do laundry, put it in the dryer, fold my clothes. Like, I'm so sick of this.
Correct.
But this is what life is.
Correct.
And then I have to make my money and go to the grocery store. And like, if I want to have water when I'm drunk in the middle of the night, I need to go fill up my water before I go out. Like,
fuck. One of those things I really I was like a brat sort of growing up. Like, I didn't go grocery shopping with my parents. Like, I played sports basically.
Yeah.
I came back home.
Dinner was ready.
Yeah. And so I think that I didn't know what the time extent that takes and all that stuff. And so like, you start to understand why like the heteronormative relationship was built, right? Because you're like, oh yeah, of course,
when this is what
somebody needs to stay at home and do all this.
You're telling me I have to pay my bills and clean my house,
do my own shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But that's. Yeah. And I'm also Miss Independent over here, so I'm not gonna sit here and act like I needed a man. But but it is nice. Like, it is nice to have people, and you don't have to put up that front. Because I was also a very defensive, like, younger woman. Like, I don't need a man, and
I'm still sort of there.
I know. I see that, and I think I am too. But also, not every man wants to be dominated.
Yeah, correct.
And maybe I don't want to dominate either. Like, maybe I actually want to be softer and say, hey, like, I do need help. Because that's what it comes down to. It's not like, you know, me taking the cooking and he does this. Like, it's not that. It's like asking for help and saying, you know what? I can't do this on my own. Like, and that's okay. But we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, I know. That's one of like the hardest facet. I think that's the facet in life that I'm like least mature on or whatever, you know? Like, I think in other facets of my life, I've had to be like more mature. And so there's other parts of my life that are going to, and like, relationship maturity or whatever is not one of those things.
Yeah.
I like, we'll get into that, but like I think a lot of it has to do with the sort of adolescent idea that you have of love and that coming into with you into adulthood.
Yeah, girl, we can talk about that.
We'll talk about that. Just because like it's I think, and I don't want to like put that onto you too. For me personally, I feel like really didn't give me a realistic, I don't know how to coexist with a man, first and foremost. I've never lived with a man.
Yeah.
So like, other than like my brother. Yeah. So other than that, I don't even know, like even when I go visit my friends and they have boyfriends and they live together or whatever, he's just sitting there. I'm like, yeah, what do I do with a man just sitting there? Yeah. Like, and not wreaking havoc. You know what I mean?
That's a huge issue in relationships though too. Like, yeah, just not knowing how to coexist. Yeah. And like parallel play, right?
Or whatever.
Like I'm doing this, you're doing that. I'm not right up under you.
Yeah.
I think that when two people can learn how to do that, they like crack the code, because it doesn't happen for everybody. It's possible, it definitely is, but it's not compatible for everybody. Not everybody wants that kind of thing, or correct. So it's really just trial and error. Yeah.
It's something, because it's one of those things too where like I feel like if I'm not good at something right away, I just don't want to deal with it. I think I run into that. Do you do that with relationships? Dating. Yeah. Or I'm like, I feel insecure about if I'm good at it or not, so I'm just like, fuck it. I don't want to do it at all now.
I got something for that.
Yeah. So, one of these. Oh my God. So why crystal? So. This wasn't on there, but like, what happened? What was your come to Jesus with like
spirituality?
Yeah. I want to know that. Part of it.
Let's talk about it. So like growing up, my mom has been, well, first we were like raised Catholic, right? So I had my first communion, like all the way up until almost confirmation.
Yeah.
Parents get divorced, right? We're having a whole shift in
family dynamics.
Yeah, family dynamics, but also like perception of God, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
So my mom's questioning her faith. I was questioning my faith because sitting in CCD is what I went to. They're like, you have to have faith, or like, you know, nothing's going to, what is it? Like, you have to have faith, period. Yeah. If you don't believe in God,
you're going to,
yeah, well, what is it? If you don't believe, then what is it? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, so I have to believe, right? I have to believe everything that you're saying, or it's not going to be true.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it just didn't make sense to me. So
yes,
I get what they try to push. Yes. And I don't know. I didn't have a huge,
of it all is a lot.
I didn't have a huge disagreement with, like, I guess I never really got into the Bible and what they stood for. Barely paid attention in church, right? So I didn't even get the whole theme that they were playing. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Still really haven't dove into it too much with like church.
The thing that they were playing.
Yeah, I don't.
Referring to
No, I know. No,
Queen. I'm here for that.
But it's so funny because it's real. Like, I'm not even playing with you.
You're like, they're playing in my face.
Well, that's what it felt like when I was.
They are.
When I was younger,
for money and they're playing in your face.
That's what it felt like, and I was just like, I'm confused, guys. But also, I can't say I paid attention in church too much, right? So don't come for me. Like, I respect everybody's religions.
Me too.
I do. But I guess like my coming of age moment. Yeah. Again, my mom was very spiritual. She'd be sage in the house, right? Like, she's finding herself after my parents' divorce and getting back into it. So she always had her tarot cards, like,
that's so cute.
Everything. Oh, my mom. I love that girl. I love that.
That's really cute.
She's my whole inspiration. So like, she kind of brought that up to me. But then you're 2020, right? Like, it's the era of like, crystals are popping, right? Yeah. So I can't say I didn't jump on the bandwagon, because I was definitely like, oh wow, like, these so I dug into it a little bit more, and then started really connecting with my crystals, like like you hold them, like sit with them. I don't know. There's certain, you just feel it, right? As you're meditating with your crystals and getting familiar with that aspect. Meditation's huge in spirituality too, so that's what I was getting at, like mind over matter, right? And then I just started to learn, like, you know, you have these thoughts that come up and they come up, but it doesn't mean you have to resonate with every single thought.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that every single thought in your head has to become reality, because it's not. So I learned, like you have to observe it, not absorb it. Love that.
Yeah. I feel like I've only successfully done that like twice.
Really?
We're getting there.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah.
It's just like being a witness to your thoughts and saying like, you know what? This doesn't control me. And I think that's also part of my perseverance with like anxiety. Like,
yes.
Okay, I think that everyone's going to laugh at me. And then I go do something and that's the total opposite. It never happens that way. The best case scenario always happens. But I always think the worst.
Yeah.
But I have to stop thinking the worst, right? But that was like where I ended up. So the crystal thing definitely was like, it was popping, right? But I think it also, I had to deep dive into my spirituality too and figure out what makes sense, especially like, I didn't really have a sense of self at 18.
And by the way, a crazy global event causing somebody to rethink their life isn't, I don't think that's crazy.
It's not crazy.
And for a lot of people to go into spirituality and that be their thing, I don't think that that's crazy. I hate when people like are mean about things. I don't know. If somebody likes crystals, who gives like it's a popular thing.
It is. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like it's a community, right?
Yeah. So's all things are community. All things. Yeah, like I don't know. It's so weird. The defensiveness of things that like people don't understand.
Yeah.
I do that too. I mean, we all do that.
We do. And it's easy to, jump at that, but it's just like, I mean, this person thinks that. And what can I say? Right. I mean, who am I? I think this.
You're real.
That's why I'm like, religion, like, that's amazing for you. Yeah. For me, it's this, and that's okay. And it's just like learning that we're all different people and you don't have to resonate with everything. If the world was all the same, we wouldn't have these conversations because there'd be nothing to talk about because we'd be like same people.
Right.
But it's so beautiful to have those differences.
Well, yeah. And we're conditioned to think that like anything outside of difference is wrong or anything outside of norm is wrong. And it's like, well, damn. Well, what do you mean?
It takes a while to get to that point, though, like
to unlearn what we've been conditioned to. We're all competition with each other. We're all
that kills
fighting
me.
for same and I
can't say like me like I would never judge, but no, still
I judge everyone.
Seeing people still locked into that like and we're in competition or don't do that. It's stupid. Like excuse me, like I don't even have time for relationships or friendships that aren't fostering my true self. Like if you think that your idea is so much better than mine that I can't even express who I am, you can have it. Matter of fact, have a great day because personally, no. Yeah. But it takes a lot of learning and not everybody has gone through that yet. But
yeah. And it's like I've been sort of trying to figure it out lately of like in a lot of ways it's a privilege to be able to have the time to do this self-exploration. So I'm trying to be a little bit more kind to my peers, you know, but like it's hard because I'm like, well, I've done it. And like,
well, it's also like I don't think a lot of us have a lot of time outside of maybe our careers or taking care of the house. Correct. So not a lot of us have that time, but it's really like, how do you spend that time? And I fight with myself with that all the time. What do you mean? Like I will sit on my couch and scroll on TikTok for an hour. Like, yes. guilty, but you still have to make time for those things to be a better person. And like, just I've just been huge in like fostering your hobbies. And that's where I'm at right now because you got to find something that works for you. Like find what works for you.
And just you.
Exactly.
So growing up, what did you enjoy watching? Did you watch TV? How did you grow up?
This is so funny.
Okay.
I got something for you because the way I'd be in my room, like TLC.
No
reality
way.
TV.
Oh,
yeah.
Me
like
too.
John and Kate plus 8.
The
Duggars. The Duggar. Say yes to the dress. Like that is the shit that I grew up. And I was like, it's resonated. Like my 600 pound life, like all of that. Loved it.
I feel that.
I still to this day really like I'm a reality person. Like
me too.
I like a good show here and there, but like let me learn something, you know? Not that was the best form of learning.
I do think people are so they rag on reality TV. I think I'm studying humans.
Yeah.
Like I truly like obviously it is played up, but I'm like,
sure.
given money and the right circumstances, this is how humans act. Yeah. So
this is true.
We should watch that.
Yeah, and I just like to see like the nitty gritty. Like, I don't know, it was just interesting, different family dynamics, and I loved a good bag of hot Cheetos, like with my feet up watching like TLC all day, or like A&E. What did they have on there? I forget. Like,
was that like Castle type?
It was more like it
was more like 90s sitcom-y maybe, or no?
I feel like they had like Ghost Hunters, like that kind of stuff, like more of like a documentary show.
Yeah.
What else did A&E have? I don't know if they had like Dog the Bounty Hunter. Definitely watched him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but just like give me the tea. Like, I don't know. I just lived for the thrill of the reality. Yeah. Even though, I know it's played out or whatever. But like, no, it was really interesting. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
And then besides that, I was like a huge One Direction girly. Cute. So I was a lover girl from the start. I knew it.
Which one did you like?
I love Zayn.
Cute.
I love Zayn.
Yeah.
I love Niall too. I was never a huge Harry Styles. Yeah. Love you, Liam Payne. Love him so much. Yeah. Really sad. Peace. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Louis, he's just kind of in the cut, living his life, but.
I was a Jonas Brothers girl more than anything.
Yeah, probably. I think different eras.
Yeah.
I actually have a picture in my yearbook. I wore a Jonas Brothers shirt, a headband, earrings, all from Kmart.
Cute.
Kmart core. Kmart core. I was
miss her.
Yeah, I remember. Like, I'm gonna wear this to picture day, and I definitely did. But yeah.
I had a Beatles rock band phase.
Okay.
Yeah.
As I'm getting older, I'm getting back into like different music genres, but yeah, when I was younger, it was like One Direction, like all the bops. Yeah.
Did your parents listen to me like any kind of music? Because I listened to like a lot of. My parents are older, so I listened to like 70s rock sometimes, even. Yeah. Like
my parents weren't a huge musical inspiration, but my mom would like play the Cranberries and like
Yeah.
I think as I've gotten older, like one of my best friends, Melissa, she's a huge Fleetwood Mac, like, and that's. Been my thing, I grew into it a lot. I grew into my music. Shout out to YouTube Red because
I don't have an account yet.
I love YouTube Red.
I should. It is what I spend the most time on
YouTube.
I'm most of the time I'm on.
It's
YouTube.
worth it, and like just to transition from whatever platform you're using now to YouTube Red. Shameless plug. Like I fucking love YouTube Red. Any unreleased song, like it's on there. The Lana Del Rey, like Back to the Basics. I can't play that on Apple Music. I'm sorry. Right. Give me the aux because I can play my songs. I love it. And like I get on Vice, watching my stuff interrupted. But
I don't know. I feel like. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in like South Chicago Heights, Stager.
Okay, word.
Yeah, classic,
the
vibes.
You went to Columbia Central.
Went to Columbia Central, went to Parkview. No, I think, I know my childhood impacted me a lot, but I think from 19 to now, I've just been doing a lot of growing.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like me searching for the growth, not like, life events and this, well, of course life events, but like still me searching for that. Like I listen to Wayne Dyer a lot. He is so inspirational. That's the guy. Honestly, doing my vision board for December of 2020 for January, like it was just like the reality of the things that he says. Oh, it resonates with me so much. If you guys are watching Wayne Dyer, please go check him out on YouTube. I'm not sure if he's still around, but yeah, I've done more soul searching like the older I've gotten.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out now if like I'm the work. I had like a really rough therapy session this last week. My personal life has been sort of, I'm really excited to be here. But my personal, like I went through some weird stuff like 2 or 3 days before coming.
Oh wow. Like I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. I just like I'm trying to figure out. I think we were talking a little bit before we started rolling, like realizing what may be like a life-changing moment of growth for me. could be like perceived as just like Jenn being dramatic or whatever by my family members or whatever. Like for me, like I'm changing my life right now. Like I'm like really working my ass off to become the person I want to be. And like I had this moment of clarity earlier in the week that like that's not the like I'm just being dramatic. Yeah, I'm just being perceived as being dramatic and like the problem, you know. And so like yeah, I like so that sitting with that as trying to see it as a little bit of like constructive criticism of like, am I just being a brat, or did the things that am I causing more issues than it's worth to bring up those issues, like to bring up those family dynamics, or should I just sit in them? Do you know what I mean? Like
not everybody wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think perspectives too, like maybe they haven't changed, but yours has, because you're from the outside looking in now versus being in the shit.
So like trying to figure all that out, like we've been talking and there's times where I'm like defensive and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, girl, what? Like that's trying to figure that out. I agree with you. Like I've heard like lots of people be like, your 20s are like your worst decade. A lot, because like you have no idea who you are yet. And like I've really been enjoying my 20s.
I do too.
But I've also been through like the most heartbreaking moments of my life in my 20s, you know.
Do you also refer to family heartbreaks?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
I'm experiencing that.
Yeah. Men heartbreak has never even compared an ounce to what the other heartbreak I've experienced. You know, like,
I'm totally like such the glue in my family too. Like, text me back. What do you mean? Like, I was on vacation last week and I was like sending everybody pictures in the family group chat.
Cute.
No response. Do you know how that feels? Like, and it's not me being dramatic, but are you guys going to sit here and act like we're not family or something? Like, get it the fuck together. Roll call. Or who's in attendance, because
a like or something.
A fucking, I don't care if you give me the thumbs up, the standard ass, like, give me something, because
you're not dead.
I'm not dead. We are not dead.
Right.
As a family.
Right.
I know it's been a few weeks, right, since we all seen each other, but don't start acting weird. And that's where I'm at too. Like, but it is a little heartbreaking. Like, all jokes aside, like, what do you mean? Like, we lived together, like, sat on the kitchen floor and had these conversations and like all the love, and it's still there, but like, if I'm the only one who's gonna bring it out.
And like, it's hard. It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's like years.
But I think it could also be perceived as like we're crazy.
Well, yes, because like I think my family, it's like I'm content with. I don't need to be changed. I don't need to be checked in on. And like, I'm like, oh, so we're just not going to talk?
Yeah.
Is that like, and that's fine. Like that. It has less to do with ego than I think that they think, you know. It's been like pretty apparent that they think that I think I control the family, like that. We were talking, you know.
Are you like, how many siblings do you have?
I just have an older brother.
You have an older brother?
Yeah.
So I'm like the oldest sister, right? I have been I'm guilty of like trying to control situations for sure, trying to dictate and like make sure everybody's on their P's and Q's.
Right.
So I get that. I do get that.
And for me, it like, I don't think I control the family. However, I wanted like, do y'all just want to, I would also like to have a better relationship with my family members. And so
someone's got to do it.
If that means that I am going to set the expectation for what I expect for my relationships, and that means that you have to adjust yourself, I don't know. You know what I mean? I think relationships are thought to be like very easy things, and like relationships with anyone, and I think to a large extent they should be easy, but like you also should put like a little effort in.
You for sure. I mean? And that's crazy that you say that, for so long I let my friends pick me. I've let people in my life pick me. I don't pick a lot of my people. Like they gravitate towards me, and then I kind of go with the flow. But sometimes you can chase your friends,
right?
You can chase a man, you can chase your friends, you can chase your family.
Right.
You don't have to avoid everything. And like, that's where I was so like, well, they'll come to me, right?
Like whoever just stumbles into my life is good
right
enough.
Whoever wants to be in my life is going to show me, but you do have to say like, hey guys, like, do you want to do this? Do you like
Correct.
You have to put that effort out, and that's what I'm learning too.
Correct. It's it's the hardest thing. Let me make sure my feet
cover them toes.
Family dynamics, I think, are the hardest relationships to figure out. I don't think that, and that, like, obviously trauma builds on that or whatever. And like, I think everyone has trauma. I watched this YouTube video about Diane from BoJack Horseman. Have you ever watched BoJack Horseman?
Here and there.
So the video just like discusses her character and her character arc, and at some point she really has a panic, and she's like, well, what if I don't make this like beautiful memoir about my trauma in my life and it doesn't mean anything or whatever? And
like, she had to put value on her trauma. Okay.
And like, at some point, the guy who makes the video is like, oh, he realizes that her trauma is pretty average or whatever. Like, that a lot of people go through. What you're going through isn't like crazy different.
True. And but people will hold on to that and say, because my mom was like this, I'm gonna be like this.
Which is crazy.
It's fucking crazy, Jen.
Yeah.
The amount of like,
they're like, well, I turned out good enough, even though I'm still thinking about it right now.
or they'll genuinely flat out say like, that was never my family thing, so it's not going to be my thing. Well, I don't. It's like, you are the creator of your life. If you don't get up and change something and start blaming everybody for why your life is the way it is, I'm sorry. Yes, it happened. You have to do something about it. Now it's in your hands. So like, I'm not very remorseful in that aspect because there's some things that you really do go through that cannot be unchanged, right? It changes you forever. But there's also things like,
well, just like there's like bad things that change you forever, there are good things that change you forever.
There are good things.
And there's like probably more of those, if I had to guess.
100 billion%. But if you don't believe that, then you're still thinking the entire world is out to get you. Yes. And it's a victim mentality.
I sat there. I know what that's like. Yeah. It's like, it's.
But I'm such like a logical person too, and it's almost bad in friendships, relationships. Like, okay, here's a solution. I think we should try this. But if you don't want to try it, then fine, like, suffer. Like, and that's my problem a little bit, because I'm very like logic. Like, I have empathy, but I'm also like, all right, what do you want to do? We've been talking about the same thing for 3 years. Do you want to do this? You want to do that? Or do you want to not talk about it anymore?
Right.
Because I feel like I'm wasting my breath at this point.
Correct.
Exactly. Dun, dun, dun.
I have to do the work.
You have to do the work. You have to. Or
oh, that's bullshit.
It is. And it sucks. But like, I'm willing to like be that person for my friends though. Like, what do you want to do? Like, let's get out. Let's try this. Let's try that. Like, come here. Sit on my couch. Let's cry about it. What do you want to do? Like, but I'm very solution based. So you want to isolate. But then I get passionate too. What do you mean you don't want to help yourself?
You can't.
But if they don't want to help themselves, then what can I do?
Yeah.
So like, that hurts me though, is knowing a person won't change, but knowing like their potential.
That's why I cut off most of the time. I have like a big block list.
Wow.
And like, the reason why is like, most of the time it's because I'm sick of putting in the effort, or not effort, but like caring more about them than they care about themselves. And I have to remove myself because it's me.
It's you. I was just going to say that. And it's not even them.
It's not them.
It's us, because like we care so
issues.
much.
Yeah.
We care so much about other people's lives.
Yeah.
And you have to step back and say, oh, they don't even care about themselves the way I care about them. So like, it is what it is. So
I'm always like, I don't want you to have access to me. It's like, no, I don't want to be crazy.
I don't want to go crazy over you, because that's how much I love you and care about you. Yeah. I get that. I'm learning that right now.
It's embarrassing.
No, it's not. It's not. It's so beautiful. Yeah. And like to have a friend like us, like, we're just, I just feel like it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Like, I have my own friends who care about me probably more than I care about me. Like, you need those people in your life, but you also need to like take into consideration Come on.
Yeah.
Pick up the pen. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Learning to love yourself is like a hard journey. Well, it was a hard journey for me. I don't know. I don't think it ever ends.
Yeah. I don't think it ever ends. Yeah.
Working on it. It's just like one of those constant things where at least now I've been more like, well, you wouldn't get mad at somebody else for this. Or like if I'm starting to work something up in my head where I've already sort of made the decision for someone where I'm like, well, they probably think this.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you should probably just tell them your thought process and let them make the decision instead of deciding for them what they think.
True.
You know,
because we all have this idea of how things are going to play out, but you really just got to speak the fuck up and just say it. Like, it's hard. You got to have those hard conversations. And that's where I'm at, like, too, with friendships is like, this made me feel some type of way. I'm going to say, let's talk about it. Hey, like, I didn't like when you did that. And, but you have to. Yeah. These people aren't mind readers, right?
No. Well, and I don't think that I found issue with that. Have you ever found issue with like your communication style being more direct than people think that it should be? Because like that's a big thing that I get told a lot where I'm like, they're like, well, because you said it like this, it's wrong.
It's your delivery, right? Yeah. No, that I get that.
And I'm like, I get that.
I get that a lot, actually.
Me too. Would you be surprised at me too?
my mom is like, Carli, you're mean. And I'm like, no, I'm not mean. But like, I am very direct, and I think I have good perspectives. I don't think I'm always right. Yeah. But I think, like, consider my perspective and maybe it'll change you a little bit. I think I feel like I'm capable of changing people, you know? But yeah, I am very direct, like very blunt, very honest. Yeah. If coming out of my mouth, it's written on my face. So it's like very hard to.
I struggle with that too.
It just, I mean, what is there to hide?
Right. Well, and like, wouldn't you appreciate it more if I told you how I was feeling instead of us sitting here and playing this like game where where I'm upset?
It's so funny you said that though.
You know, like because I don't want to play
when you're saying playing games.
You know,
I'm good at being direct with friendships and family.
Yeah.
Am I good at being direct with men?
I'm not good at that either.
No.
Yeah.
Why is that? I don't know. But when you said playing games, I was like, yeah. I don't know why that is. But it just made me think a little bit.
Same. Yeah.
Guilty.
Well, like, yeah. Anywho.
Oops.
Yeah. Right, well, I'll write that down for my therapist.
No, literally.
We'll discuss that this week.
I know. This feels like a therapy session.
Yeah.
I'm canceling.
How have you liked therapy? You said you recently made 6 months.
I made 6 months in therapy, guys. So I started therapy in August. And what even happened? I don't even know what led me to start. Because I think I jumped into a long distance relationship over the summer.
Right. I remember.
Went through that a little bit. Started realizing some things about myself when you're like far apart from someone, but you're still trying to put your love into someone. Yep. It's weird. A lot of things come up, and I was going crazy at home too with the family. I was spending a lot of time with my nephew.
Cute.
Yeah, love him to death, but bro, I need to go to the gym. Like, I was doing a lot of work. I was doing a lot of taking care of people.
Yeah.
And like I would just go on runs because I was like losing my fucking mind. Like I needed to get out of the house. So I was like, let me try therapy, and I do online therapy. Okay. So just virtual. My first session, I'm like, okay, everybody do not open my door, right? I'm still living at home.
Oh my God, I couldn't have. I did all my sessions in my car.
Wow.
When I do them at home.
I would like tell the whole family, like, please don't come in for the next hour. Like, I'm doing this. I'd have my nephew like knocking on the door, like, TT, I want to play with you. Like,
yeah, you're a mama bear for real.
Right.
I love them.
Right? They have such big personalities. But back to TT Carli, like, yeah, it was just a lot for me, and started online, and it's crazy. One of my goals in therapy, we just kind of recapped. She's like, do you remember what your goal was when you first started? And I was like, no, I don't remember. My goal was to get over the fear of moving out. That's how serious this was for me.
Yeah.
And this goes rooted with like family attachment, with just loving to take care of everybody.
Yeah.
There was so much that went into that like I couldn't even see myself moving out. Like, right, I graduated in COVID. I had all these scholarships, like Colorado State University, like Arizona State, like so many, and I couldn't go. Like, I couldn't get myself to go anywhere. Family attachments, and then we could just blame COVID, right? Because it's it's a fucking pandemic. So,
and like moving away from home's fucking hard.
It is so
like
hard.
Like it's like we talk about, it's like a very glamorized thing. People are like, you're really doing your shit out there. When I see people from home, they're like proud or whatever. I'm like, I cry a lot. Like, I would love to be at home hanging out with you all right now. And I love experiencing new things, but like it's like it's layered, you know?
There's no place like home. And like, I was so attached to that literally I had to go to therapy to get over that fear. But it's been really good. It's been really enlightening. I mean, some sessions I feel like I'm not getting the most out of it. Some sessions I feel like I get everything out of it. It's really just like depending on the day. But I try not to talk about the same things over and over in therapy. Like, that's okay, real. We can talk about it for a few weeks, and now I'm starting to pay for it because we're talking about the same thing every week. So I try to switch it up.
That's real.
There's definitely a lot I still haven't talked about, but I mean, it's a good outside perspective. And I think if anything therapy has done for me has been like, look at you. Like, I see everybody, but do I see myself?
Yeah.
And one of the things like I've been writing on my mirror is like, if only you could see yourself.
Yep.
Right? Because like, look, like, and I sit and talk to my therapist and she's like, girl, like, you're sitting on your couch, you're talking to me, you look so grown. 6 months ago, you're being interrupted in your sessions. Like, do you see yourself? Do you see how far you've come? And I can see that in everybody else, but it's so hard to see it in me.
Yeah.
So it's just been a huge like confidence thing. Like, right, when we settle for certain things in relationships too, when we're not confident, and we settle for friendships when we're not confident. So it's all looped into one, and it's been a huge learning experience. You better not.
They're so cute. I love them. Yeah, I really resonate with that. I didn't realize I moved into a place where I lived alone when I did a resident manager position in college. So like I oversaw an apartment complex. So you got an apartment. Okay. It was nice.
That's sweet.
And so I didn't realize how much time you spent alone when you live by yourself. And like, obviously that seems self-explanatory, but like, no, so much of your life is just like mundane. Not yes, but mundane. Like you're really living life like Squidward a little bit. Like where you go, you do your workout,
your hobbies, you got your clarinet
and, you go home
and shit.
And go to sleep.
Exactly.
You do it again the next day.
You do.
And I sort of really enjoy that part of life.
Do you?
Yeah. Now that I'm settled, when I first started it, no, I hated it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm sitting alone with me.
Yeah.
And now that I'm used to it, I've had 5 or 6 years, you know, I enjoy peace now. It's hard for me to socialize. You know, I'm very particular now about who I spend time with because if I don't view their time as
valuable,
if I view, is it going to be worth it to me? I don't drink as much now, because I get like the worst anxiety. So I'm like, okay, do I really need to be drinking? Is that something that learning how to socialize without drinking is hard? You know, so that's something. Partially, I haven't been socializing as much just because I stopped drinking. You know, so like they're figuring all that out. Is rough.
I recently learned how to say no. I'm not going to go too in depth with the story, but I was invited somewhere and it was like, you know, work was ending and I'm asking my coworker, I'm like, should I go? And he's like, you don't want to go. Why don't you just say no?
Right.
Because I want to be included. Yes. I want to be included, right?
The FOMO.
And just to be involved in something had me wanting to be there so bad. But when I sat back and I was like, you know what? I need to treat me better before people treat me better. Like, you have to take care of you, right? Just, how do you expect people to do the things you like to do if you're not even doing those things?
I know.
So
I know. We've been yapping a lot. I want to get into this. Well, we could talk about your safety role. Do you care about talking about that? Or do you?
We can touch on it. Okay. Yeah. I feel like I kind of got into this. I'm not going to talk about my company.
I would start to drill you about it.
We're not going to go in depth about the company I work for, but
tell me about Jeff Bezos.
But I started there, right? I needed some money.
Of course.
I needed some money. I was working, my little KFC gig, KFC Taco Bell.
Your viral TikTok.
No, because I had stories. That place put character in me too. Yeah. Shout out to Cynthia, Michelle, my babies. I love y'all so much. But yeah, so there, and then I was doing like temporary nursing assistant work outside of high school, and I'm like, I don't want to be like a CNA, or like I don't really want to go to nursing. It's hard work. And it takes a lot. So God bless them. But personally, I was just like, I don't think this is for me.
Yeah.
Then I got into childcare. I'm like, do I like kids? Do I like kids? I like my nephew.
Yeah, I was like the ones you're related to.
I like.
Yeah,
kids are hard. I had like a group of like from 7 to 10 years old. But that's besides the point. So I finally get this job and I start making some money. And year and a half in, I get promoted, start doing like safety coordinator work. And then about 6 months after that, I got promoted to a safety specialist.
Cute.
Super cool, super fun. So I like it. I really do like it. I never saw myself like getting into safety, and I laughed when I actually got an interview. Yeah. Did you?
Yeah, of course.
When I got the interview, I laughed so hard because I was like, I'm the most unsafe person. Like Miss Girl. I'm like on my phone pulling pallet jacks. Like, girl, who are you? So it took me by surprise. But now I'm like going on audits and like auditing different buildings all across the US. Girl, it is so fun. This year I'm gonna be a lead auditor. Like I get to like lead the team and like do the opening interview, the closing interview, and like all that fun stuff. So that'll be my first one next week. I'm super excited about it. But yeah, I love safety. I'm starting to get more into environmental safety. Cool. I think that's more my passion. And we do a little bit of that work just because you have to keep up with like the environmental regulations. It's like stormwater, right? Hazardous waste, all that other stuff. So it's part of my passion. Like I love sustainability. Yeah. I was able to like launch sustainability at different buildings and get them to recycle because it's not mandatory for the company to recycle. But that's besides the point. But if I can make a change, like I will make that change.
Yeah.
So yeah, my goal is to like kind of scale it more into environmental work.
Yeah. Well, part of it is working within the system.
Like, it is. It's scary though. Like,
yeah,
I've had to learn it's hard to control, and a lot of people have told me that. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna save the world. It's really hard to control
engineering, thinking I was gonna like pave the way for other like women. Yeah. Like, I got like a year or two into the career, and I was like, okay, let me work in the ways that I know that I can, which is locally. Like that's it. That like I'm gonna save the world. Yeah. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and everybody gave me that when I said that. They're like, "Aw,
yeah,
you're gonna save the world." I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna save the world." Yeah,
it really be breaking you down.
Oh, it did, and now I'm like, I can control what I can control.
Yes, yeah, and you can do that well.
Drive me absolutely bonkers,
right?
But I can control what I can control, and that's where I'm at with that. But
and it's working out.
It's working out, and I'm making good money, and I'm traveling the world.
Yeah, so, and that's all you can want to do.
Exactly.
You know. Yeah. School.
We can touch on that. It's not huge for me.
Yeah.
I went to Prairie State.
Cute.
Love Prairie State.
I love Prairie State.
I love Prairie State.
Some of the best professors I've ever had.
Some of the best professors. The community.
Yes.
The engagement. Yes. Oh my gosh. They have amazing directors for that, and got my little associate's degree, so I'm like not super far into my education, right? So I've been out of high school for 4 years. Could have had a degree. Definitely had to have a degree in my company.
Yes.
But it's funny because people come in to my role with degrees. There was a girl who was just denied for my position with a master's in environmental like health and safety.
Yeah.
And that is scary. You don't need it.
No.
Like, and
no.
The way people have gone to college and graduated, and I'm like could pass an interview with flying colors just because just from where I've been.
And people skills. People don't talk about how far people skills get you. If you don't have people skills, you need to like go to some rooms that you're uncomfortable in.
Yeah.
Just because, like, we talked about church a little bit earlier, but I've noticed that, like, basically all of the, like, well-conversed people I know grew up going to church in some fashion, because you have to grow up talking to people that you don't necessarily want to not that you don't want to talk to your church mates, but like you grow up talking to like old ladies.
Right, you're involved.
Yeah, so like you just grow up knowing how to talk to those. That's one of the most important skills that you could ever have. It doesn't
being
matter
a theater kid
too.
Yeah.
How educated you are, how whatever, like you need to be able to talk to make people feel comfortable.
That's true.
If you can make somebody feel comfortable, you can make them buy something. You can make like whatever you want to do.
You can have it. The world is yours. And that's where I'm at. Like the world is mine. And I've gotten, some education. I'm taking my NEBOSH, which is like a national safety certificate that's recognized globally.
Yeah.
Really hard to pass because it's graded by the UK. And what just recently clicked to me, strict. There's English and then there's English. Okay. 2 different Englishes.
Yeah.
So to write in a way that they understand, girl, I feel that shit. But I will be back. I will be spinning the block and I'm coming back to that. But
I know.
Yeah. I'm just like getting the knowledge while I can, like getting my education paid for, which is really nice.
Yes.
And also understanding that I don't need it.
No.
I don't need that.
I do think that there's like I obviously like went to school and I see the value in going. But I know that that's not the way. And if I could go back, I think I had no idea what I wanted to do at 18. And like I went in nursing and like I went and I immediately didn't love it. But I almost felt scared to change because I had already started something. And like to expect somebody at 18 to pick what they're going to do for the rest of their life is a crazy expectation.
You know what's crazy too is
that
like,
costs $1 million.
Not really getting the education of there's more out there than just going to get an education.
Well, and especially with where we went to school, most of the audience that you need to be like the trades are going to be most important for where we like we have so much manufacturing where we're at.
Right.
We have like all those Amazon like we have so much manufacturing.
The Ford plant,
like
railroads, everything.
I think it would be more beneficial to have trade be more. I don't know why.
I mean, trades, but then like
because it's expensive, maybe because it like.
I don't
You'll
know.
spend $80,000.
I even think that there's more out there than just like a trade. Like no one ever said, "Hey, go be an entrepreneur."
Well, right.
Hey, start a business. Hey, invent something. Hey, patent something.
Right.
And go get your money, and then you won't have to work ever again. Like there's that side of it too. Like
and like it sucks. A lot of that stuff. I was not even told that was like an option. I've just started to come into when starting to do this, when starting to sell on Depop. I'm like, oh, I could have a 1099 someday.
I go to the bins and like the shout out to the bins boys, love y'all. I love them, but that's their full-time job. And it could be mine too, but I just choose other things. But it's really like what you put your time into, and no, they don't teach you that in school. And I attribute a lot of that to like my past relationship too, like just watching this person blossom before my eyes, like as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, and wow, inspired. Like
he really does his shit.
He does, and I love him so much. And just to see that side was really beautiful because I didn't have that growing up. But
and, like,
to have that
learn
person,
that from? Did he have like family? Like how did?
No, that was just him.
He just figured
that
it
was
out?
him. That was like that was a solo journey that like nobody could have paved for him but him.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, and like to see that too. There's just the opportunities are endless.
Yeah.
And you just really have to find like what works for you.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a sticky situation. Like nobody wants to work the rest of their lives, and I definitely sit at work sometimes and I go a little crazy. I like asked the old guy, he's like 70 years old, and he's like, I'm like, how's it going? He's like, it's going. And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking end it all. Like, what do you mean it's going? Like, you're 70 years old, please retire, please, I'm begging you. Like, a hazard to
everyone. We don't set people up that way. Yeah.
We don't set people up that way, but you have to set yourself up in some way.
Correct.
Like, I have my investments, I have my Roth IRA, like, if there's one thing I'm going to do is like use my money to its advantage.
Yeah. And like I didn't really know anything about that stuff. Like, knowledge is wealth in a lot of ways.
It is.
And part of why I wanted to like do the podcast too is like, the things that I learned in college, the things that like we need to start bringing that stuff to home and like the community and start like we're going to start teaching people how to start a business if you want to. We should start teaching,
that's
like,
true.
I think that's there's a lot of benefit to that.
Yeah,
because unfortunately, like or else it's just nobody's there to like.
Yeah,
a lot of people need a lot more guidance than
you do. I mean, I wouldn't have learned half the things I know now without that person in my life. Like, having that inspiration was huge for me. And that person went out and found this knowledge all on their own. And it's a beautiful thing. But I mean, 90% of people don't go out there and do that. They kind of like,
it's out there.
I mean, and I'm like speaking for myself, like I wouldn't have taught dove deep into investing or like being the person I am now with my entrepreneurship without that influence.
Yeah.
So it would be beautiful to have that more in the community, but they always are like, go get a degree.
Yeah.
And then like you get your degree. Well, what I've heard, because I haven't used my degree yet, but then, I mean, like the girl with the master's degree, are you kidding me? What do you mean you can't get the same job that I have and I don't even have a degree?
Right.
Like, I was the youngest person in my class at like the lead training that I went to in Seattle. Amazing.
It's fun to be the youngest person.
It is so fun.
Everyone
and it's
like you're their kid. It's like you get
no judgment. I didn't even have any judgment. I'm like, y'all don't even give they don't care that
it's fun.
It's beautiful. And it's just so inspiring. Like, especially not having a degree, like, and to be able to get to this place that I am now, people skills, networking, and just being yourself.
Yeah.
You said you're going to move home someday?
Someday.
Okay.
Well, I think the first place that I purchase, like if I were to buy a house, I think I want to buy someplace in the suburbs so that like when I was in college, I volunteered at this place and I want to recreate something like that, like an after school program, just because like, it's
adding value to the community.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We did some volunteering when I was in Seattle too, and like it made me emotional.
The last thing I want to talk about is, well, it doesn't have to be the last thing. We touched on it a little bit earlier. So like I had a relationship for like 10 years with somebody. And I think that changed the way that I perceive relationships forever. Cause it started when I was like literally an adolescent. Like I was 12.
+1.
You know.
+1 chat. 14, but
Yeah.
For sure.
But like even that, like you were freshly out of middle school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so like how have you settled? We've talked about how he's impacted like your life in positive ways.
For sure.
And I'm sure negatively as well. Like, but how do you go about growing alongside somebody? How do you think it's like changed your,
So with love, I feel like you have to constantly learn to love this new version of someone.
Yeah.
And people change.
Yeah.
People change a lot drastically. I know for a long time, like I held on to 16-year-old boyfriend up until like 20. And I'm like, why aren't you acting the way you acted when you were 16? Yeah. Well, because he fucking grew up.
Yeah.
Right. He grew up. So, I had to do a lot of that too. And like finding who I am as an individual versus me as a partner.
Yeah.
Because I lost a lot of friends when I was in that relationship. Very boyfriend crazy and went about that aspect. But I will say it's showed me that love, like to love someone is to choose them. I strongly believe in that. I don't think that I don't know. I don't know if you have the butterflies and the giddiness forever. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know yet. Right. So I'm still, I would love for that to be a thing, but I just don't know if that's what it is. But I do know when you love someone, you choose to love them.
Yeah.
You choose. And it's not like, I don't know, like you outgrow different versions of yourself. You outgrow this person, but you choose to love that person. And that to me is what love is. Like,
right.
But navigating that relationship, I'm not going to say unfortunately. I don't think that this is like a forever you're out of my life, but that's me. I hold on to people a lot. So I think like as I grow, you know, I'll probably continue to keep in contact just because that's the way this relationship impacted me. Like I love this person. I admire this person. And I think that's where I'm at with that. So I don't really look back on it too much because I kind of look forward and I'm like, you know, you're growing and I'm growing and it's just so beautiful. So, but I also, I don't know, when you spend that much time with a person, because you said 10 years, I'm like 8 years. It's just, it's hard to separate them from your future.
Yeah. Well, and all, like for me at least, we talked about this a little bit before we started recording, but like I said, that person's damn near family. Like
exactly, right? And that's what they've become.
Even if I'm not dating that person.
Yes.
I'm like, well, I'll still help them.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. Like I'm still gonna call my mom and be like, Mom, make a bed. This person needs somewhere to stay. Like anything like that. Like, because I mean, when you love someone for that long, some people will say, you know, you're dead to me. I'm never gonna talk to you again.
Yeah.
I think that's one way to go about it. But if things didn't end that way, or like that's not the way the relationship grew, there's no reason for it. So,
and even if it did, like it's hard. That holding that resentment forever is hard and heavy.
I think I'm so at peace
heavy.
with the way that's
I
think I'm so at peace with the way that's impacted me. And like I had to do it. Took a lot of internal work for me to get there, because it was always me and this person,
of course,
up until like I'm saying like 18 or 19. I had to say like, this is me and this person. We're not this forever, right? You have to be your own individual self. And I think I got caught up in this other person's life and their goals and their hopes and their dreams.
Right.
What do you want?
They're
and
like a collective goal.
Exactly. Right. Because you're in a relationship. And so I had a lot of that. So it took a lot of soul searching for me to say, like, what do I want? Like, I'm still trying to navigate, you know, the future. And like I said, like, did a long distance relationship. I was in, there's a lot that goes in and out.
Was like, were there more similarities than you thought there were going to be? No, were they completely different?
Yeah, I don't have a type. I don't have a type. I think I attract very different people. And I think that's the beauty of it. Like, and going into relationships, I guess when you're acting like a wife at such a young age, like I want that husband energy. Okay.
I was literally living together with somebody when I was like 8. Like, you know,
I do.
You know,
I do.
About it.
Yes, I know all of it.
You're too young to be doing shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I go into different things with like different expectations. I don't really hold on to one thing and go into a relationship and say like, oh, I have trust issues now. Like, no. I'm very like open, or when I recognize trauma that it's coming up in a different interaction with someone, I want to talk about it. Like, you know, this used to happen, so I want to talk about this because like I'm reacting that way because of this reason. So I don't really go into different things with like huge expectations. But yeah, I think loving someone at a young age, it's beautiful. It's so vulnerable, and they see so many different sides of you. Like moving 4 times in however many years, like, and that person being one stable factor within all of the disruptions of life.
Well, that's a big part of was a big part of our attachment to each other, is like, no matter what bullshit either of us were dealing with at home or whatever other things,
you still had each other.
We still like it's hard to just like, of course you wouldn't just cut that out. Like, and I don't know if other people experience that. I wish that we could be a little bit more honest about that. I think that like, no, I see this person as my family member. It doesn't really have to be anything more than that. But the problem also with me is like, I need to know that too.
Yeah.
I like, do you ever, yes, obviously you guys have that problem, but how do you guys manage or navigate trying to stay friends when if and when you do try to navigate just being friends? Because like that's something that we always tried to navigate and never found success in.
Yeah.
You know, like
I'm still failing to this day. Don't get it twisted.
Well, and that's why I just don't talk to mine.
Yeah, right. Guilty. But no, it is hard to navigate like a friendship, but I think no matter what, like this person, I mean, you're going to be in my life forever.
Yeah.
That's just my mindset. Like I don't see this person as like, see you another day when we cross paths in 10. No.
Yeah.
My ass. If I want to see you, I'm going to say, hey.
I know.
How are you today?
I
would like to see you. Yes. Yeah. Because I just don't. What's the point? And like.
Yeah.
But yeah, navigating as friends, it is hard. It's hard and it's sticky when you get into different relationships too. It's like, why would you talk to that person? Or, you know, I showed up for this person's grandfather's funeral. Like, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
But like, it's very hard to explain that to someone from the outside.
Yeah.
And I think I still fear judgment from friends for,
well, of course,
continuing connection.
I know. And that's as a friend on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Right. Like as the judgmental friend of maybe not just you, but like the judgmental friend.
Period.
As it is.
Yeah.
That's something that is hard to navigate of like, how do I make it known that like, I think you're settling.
Yes.
I think you're settling, but
because like we think our friends,
the other person,
exactly. We think our friends deserve so much better, and I'm guilty of being that defensive friend. Yeah, like girl, leave him. Yeah, look who's talking. Look who's talking. Who's talking.
And a lot of that I had to come to terms with too. Part of why I was insecure about last week or whatever was because I was like, I have always put on such a like man eater, defensive. And so to let people know that like I have spent such a big percentage of my life catering to men is embarrassing. Yeah. But that's real life. That's like, that's something I struggle with of like, is it too personal to be shared? But I'm like, no. I
think being in that relationship so young and realizing that you are your own individual and that person still has their life to maintain and you have your life to maintain, learning that so young drove me to Miss Independent. Drove me to, I don't need a man, right? Because I mean, if it's going to work out, it's going to work out. Like maybe it didn't work out. Right. And it drove me crazy. Like became a man eater. Exactly. Yeah. And was like, I never needed a man for anything, but that's something I'm unlearning too. Yeah. And realizing that I did put up those barriers in that relationship and like, they have to come down. Yes. They have to come down.
That it's not just them.
It's not just them.
I didn't realize like you're like also you're the one that keeps going back to the person who, not that your situation is the same, the person that in theory is not choosing you.
Right. Right.
You know, like,
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Girl, get up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that it's fun to do these interviews too. Like obviously everyone wants to know the tea a little bit. You always view people and you're like, I want to know the inside of that a little bit. Right. But also we all have those things that people want to know the tea about. We probably could learn from each other with those things. Like even just like people may have questions about me. Like that's why I want to start talking again. Right. I just like, let's talk about it. Like you said, like, I don't know. I think it's fun.
Yeah. I think I've just grown to have such an open heart and like really just no bad blood. Like I feel so good about myself and the people that I choose to have into my life. Like that. I mean, come for the tea, but stay and like love me a little, but because like there's a lot to love and like I'm such a genuine person and I don't think that my life experiences are one to be, oh, well, she did this, well, she did that. Like, no, it's all a learning experience. We all take from it what we do and nobody's perfect. Like,
and like that's like you've brought it up a couple times of like me saying that like I haven't put a lot of effort into this or whatever.
Yeah.
That's something I'm still in learning of, like being confident in what I'm showing up with, the like not pulling up in here and being like, sorry, this is the only setup. You know, being like, no, I'm here to like do this thing. I'm proud of it. I like to have confidence is something that is a learning day by day thing. And I've decided to put a lot of focus on it in 2025, and that I've already noticed such a big difference in like even how the way people interact with you.
Oh, exactly. You know? Confidence is key. Like you have to wear it. You have to wear it. And I think that is another thing too. Like someone can perceive my life, right?
Yes.
But someone else can also have the same life and they're just not happy with it. Yeah. But because I'm so confident in my life and how I live my life, that's why it looks so fucking amazing, because that's how confident I am in it. Right. So it's really how you wear it. Like wear that shit. Like it's yours. It's your life. Wear that shit. Live it. Like be who you are, and like people will love you as you are. Trust me. Like, and it's a beautiful thing. Like, and I wish more people knew that.
Yeah, me too.
But you have to learn. You have to show up for yourself. And once you learn, like nobody's looking at you crazy.
No.
Nobody's judging you. Nobody thinks that this was the right or wrong way. You just did it and it was your way. And that's where I'm at with life. Like it's my way. Like, I just love it.
And it's been fun. Well, do you want to do a tarot card?
Let's do a tarot card reading. Okay. So here, I'll pull for my golden deck. I have done like my own tarot readings. I don't really get too much into them, but we'll pull a card. We'll read what it says from the book, because I'm not like super familiar with all the meanings and everything.
That's the hardest part about having a mic is like,
yeah, this right here. This right here. Okay.
Very pretty.
Okay, pick a card, any card.
Okay. Okay, should I do?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll read it like upside down for me.
It's upside down for you.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So this is the stars in reverse.
Okay, so
let's read it.
I'm so excited.
Let's read it. I love. Yeah, these are really pretty cards. Cute. Hope of tomorrow. Good omens. Fatalism. Ooh. Ooh. Do I know what it means if it's reversed? No.
That's perfect.
But I think like hope of tomorrow, good omens. Like, wow. I think we wrap this up in like a really good way.
Yeah. I've been feeling really good about the year. I've like felt I felt a shift. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored. Like, this has been such a pleasure.
Can I give you a hug?
Of course you can hug me.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Oh my goodness.